What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Big Ox. Ooh, Chia, and I'm back with another video for you today. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time. I have 102 subscribers. I would like to thank you all for being on my channel, sticking around, and not, deleting me. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that you will willfully wait on me to give out a video. I haven't been able to do it for a long time because I've been working so much, so tirelessly. Been going through my own trials and tribulations. Aged up a little bit. So the last time y'all saw me, I was a lot skinnier, but now I'm a lot bigger. Amen. There's a point in my life where I had to make some changes, and I did. And here we are today, and I'm just so glad to have this moment to talk to you today. Before we get started, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, and we're going to get into the video today. Our big topic for today is what is a high value person? What is a high value person? Who is high value? Now, you may have heard of a guy by the name of Kevin Samuels, and you heard of the lead attorney, and so many others who are in the manosphere, is what it's called. Now, I'm not in the manosphere. I'm not going to claim to understand everything that they believe, and I'm definitely not taking shots at these bigger guys. However, um, they have videos and they have great videos, great content. Go to each one of them. Kevin Samuels, go to Lead Attorney. I watch Lead Attorney every day. The Pink Book, I watch her every day. Shout out to all of them. I enjoy their channels. There's no animosity or beef coming from my direction towards those individuals. So when I say these things, I'm not speaking as a man who is trying to, get clout off of somebody else, but I have to admit, I've been sitting around for a while and I've been hearing people talk about high value this and high value that. Who's a high value person? I'm a high value person. If you're skinny, you're a high value person. If you're fat, you're a high value person. If you're this, that, or the other, you're a high value person. And no one really gives a concrete answer to what makes one person high value. Often I hear young men say to the point of, well, she has education doesn't mean anything to me in dating, so that doesn't make her high value. Then I hear women say, well, just because he has a house, that doesn't make him a high value man. And everybody seems to have an idea of value, but nobody knows exactly what they're talking about when they want a high value person, right? So I had to kind of like take a second, take a step back, and kind of, think on this topic a little bit. And so I don't want to belabor the point. I don't want to overtalk myself. So the question is, what is a high value person, right? And it cannot be due to education. It just can't, right? It can't. Because education, just having a doctorate degree, doesn't specifically make you high value, right? Because you can have a doctorate degree in anything. You can have a master's degree in anything, gender studies or pottery or whatever art. You can have a master's degree in anything. You can even have a master's degree in entrepreneurship. Why you would need one for entrepreneurship, I have no idea. But you could get a master's in entrepreneurship, and business management and all these different things, finances, and becoming a doctor or lawyer or any type of profession. There's some type of master's program out there, yeah. So um, I'm not going to sit here and say that just because you can obtain a degree of some sort, be it associates, a doctorate, even a high school diploma. All of those levels have so much stress of their own. You didn't get there on your own. You had to work hard and you had to sacrifice to get it, right? Everybody had to make some type of sacrifice to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, right? But that did not increase your value because you were able to follow directions, turning your papers on time, to strive towards this thing, to complete a task. All those things are good things. They're not bad things. They're great things about a person. But that doesn't make a man or a woman high value. That just means you're able to endure lots of stress and complete the task that's ahead of you, right? You endure it past your task, and God bless you for doing so. But that doesn't make you high, right? So, what about financial stewardship? What about somebody who is financially capable, who has maybe $600,000 salary, has $1 million salary? The few people who do, that's not even the high majority. But let's just say on an average scale of the average person, right, that makes $40,000 to $50,000 a year. Okay, majority of people who live in America make about that much, and that's male or female, doesn't matter. Take your pick, right? Financial, wherewithal, having the ability to take care of one's finances. That means you don't have mountains of debt. That means everybody's gonna have some debt. I mean, you're gonna owe somebody. As long as you live on this side, even after you die, there's a bill on your head for your life. Amen. So there's no one's gonna be without bills. You be the light bill, the gas bill, but everything is paid on. Everybody has a good job that takes care of themselves. That allows you to, make sure that there's food on your table, clothes on your back, shoes on your feet. That makes you a comfortable place in life, right? You're in a comfortable place. You're not worried about what's going to happen to you, what's going to happen to your kids. You have health insurance, etc., etc. You're a good financial person. But does that really make you high value? Does that make you a person, valuable? I mean, it's good to know that you have the ability to do that, but that in and of itself, on its own merit, makes you a good candidate for anybody's life. But does that make you valuable? I don't think so. We're talking about value here, people, not just feeling some type of way. We're talking about actual value. What do I bring to somebody to make life better? To make their life easier. All right. It's not something that you can just walk into today. You can't just wake up one day and say, I got value. First off, let's start here. Everybody is valuable to some degree. Okay, everybody. I don't care who you are. Everybody has value in life. You are valuable to this world. Yes, whoever's watching this video, you're valuable to life, period. Point blank in the story. I don't want to hear nobody tell you or let you believe in your heart that there's no value, that I can't say to the hand I have no value. Everybody holds some value to this world. If God allowed you to wake up this morning and He put clothes on your feet, He gave you activity of your limbs, gave you the air in your lungs, gave you the ability to even go to the bathroom on your own, you are valuable. You are needed. You are wanted. And we are glad to see that you're alive. And even the worst of us, you can make a change into becoming one of the best of us. So let's take away that notion. Okay, so everybody has the value, right? But high value, we're talking about high value, this higher standard of value. What makes somebody have that higher standard of value? Does finances make you that person? Superficially, sure, maybe a little bit. It brings value to you, brings another level of value to you. But does it make you a better person? Not necessarily. There's a lot of people with money. I could tell you, lots of people with money. I met people with lots of money. I've met people with no money. And there have been times I wish I could just hang with the people with no money. Okay? The people with no money, whew. I mean, they're much better people sometimes than the people with a lot. I met people who made millions, literally made millions, talked to billionaires, world changers and stuff. I was in the room when they was changing the world. Couldn't say a word because I was nobody. But all these somebodies around me, all these people who can literally affect how the world is moving. I've seen those rooms. I've been in those rooms. And I'm going to tell you something. I rather have the conversation with someone who is not them. You just look at the game that they playing, and you just see if you are ready to be in that room with all them sharks. And they are sharks, and they will bite you. So, I mean, does that specifically make you a better person? Does that bring high value because you have the ability to pay your bills on time? Not necessarily. Well, then it can't. If it can't be education, it can't be finance. Well, maybe it's knowing the Lord, being a Christian. Does being a Christian make you high value? Not necessarily. We all struggle with sin. We all have things going on. Having a religious, moral, ethic background doesn't specifically make you a moral person. Knowing who Christ is doesn't specifically mean that you are following his ways, right? So just because you know who Christ is doesn't mean it. And the Bible shows that, because the Bible says, Satan knows the Lord and he trembles at the sound of his name. So if the Bible lets it be known that Satan even knows who God is, and he knows who he is, and he trembles at the sound of his name. The demons literally tremble at the sound of God's name. Then what would make you think that just because you know the Lord is going to make you valuable or high value? Doesn't. Evil can know the Lord too. Doesn't mean that they're going to live right. Doesn't mean that they're not going to die to their sins. See, people think that just because you confess with it's confess with your mouth, believe in your heart. But if you haven't changed, just because you believe God exists, just because you acknowledge Jesus as Lord, doesn't specifically mean that you're going to do the right thing, or that you're living holy, or that you're living righteous, or that you even want to be, a follower of his. There are people who know who Christ is and believe that he exists and believe that he is Lord, but don't want to serve him. That's a more scarier thing if you think about it. But there are those who acknowledge who he is and willfully turn against him and choose Satan. There's Satanists in the world, right? So that means that you can't confess Jesus as Lord and still go to hell because you choose not to follow him. You willfully turn your way against him. Oh, I hate you, Lord. That's what the person would say. Confess with your mouth, believe in your heart that Christ was risen from the dead, you shall be saved. That's what the Bible says. But what about those who confess with their mouth, believe in their heart, and don't want anything to do with God? Is he going to make them come and be saved because of that? I don't think so. Nothing in the Bible will say that. Actually, it would say quite the contrary. Willfully denying God in your heart and say, I don't want it. Turning away from good and going towards evil. Willfully knowing who God is and you don't want it. But does that make you on his head just having religion in general? Does having religion make you a high value person? The answer is no, because evil can know the right thing to do and still choose and can do the right thing. Evil people can do the right thing sometimes. Just that simple. Because evil can do the right thing. Evil can choose a right action. We don't think about that. An evil person can choose to do the right thing. So once an evil person does the right thing, does that now make them less evil? No, they're still evil. Just because they chose an abusive person is known to do kind things first, right? That's what makes them abusive. They use kindness as a foothold into whatever lifestyle they're trying to live. And then when it's time, they turn on that person, right? And they start abusing that person, be it emotionally, be it physically, be it spiritually, whatever. They start abusing that person, right? That's just the behavior of a classic villain. Is that they start off doing good things. They make good decisions in the beginning. And maybe during the time of doing evil, they may choose to make a good decision every now and again. Just to remind people that they have the capacity of good. And every time they're still going to choose evil. And even the evil that's done to them in their mind is good. Because they are that side of the evil. So evil can be good. So being a Christian, going to church, doesn't specifically mean that you're a good person. Just because you go to the mosque or the temple doesn't specifically mean you're serving your God. Doesn't mean that just because you have a spiritual background, doesn't specifically mean that you're following it correctly, that you're doing it right, or that you're living a faith that you in this case, let's say Christianity, doesn't mean just because you have an ideal Christianity that you are now moral, right? So it has to be something to make you do, and that's what we're about to talk about. What makes a high value person? And the first thing is, ironically, falling off of our last part of our conversation, having a moral and ethical standard. You heard me. You must have a moral and ethical standard and willing to stand true to it no matter what. You must have a moral and ethical standard. You must have a standard to something. You can't be easily swayed against your own beliefs. You can't be easily swayed against what it is you're saying. To say that you're a high value person, that you are this great person, right? That you're this great, you have to believe something is right and live by that. Not cheating, not lying, not deceiving, not coveting, not wanting to hurt nobody. Staying true to yourself. Having an ethical standard. Not just looking at somebody else's woman thinking of ways that you could get her. Not trying to be a player, not trying to be, out here in the field playing that out like that. This is male and female. This has nothing to do with just one side of the gender spectrum or the other. I'm saying, like, literally, it has to be a man or a woman who's willfully doing what is right. That you know what is right and you do it. You have the integrity and the character to back it up. You have integrity. You own your life. You are accountable for the things that you do. You take care of everything. You do have that Christian center. You do have that financial stewardship. You do have some sort of education. Doesn't mean that you have to be, it's to whatever it is that you need to take care of yourself. The ability and the capacity to take care of oneself. You get up every day, you wash your face, you brush your teeth, you take care of yourself as best as you can. Doesn't mean that you're perfect. Doesn't mean that you're going to do everything right. Doesn't mean that you're going to always make weight. Doesn't mean that you're always going to, but you're going to do whatever you're supposed to do to take care of yourself. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. Knowing the right thing to do and doing it. That's what having morals and ethics mean. Knowing the right thing to do and doing it. Even when, it's nothing else there to do. Put it like this. High level, right? Somebody once said it like this. Real character comes in struggle. When not life punches you in the face, that's when you find out what type of man you are. And I'm with that. It's when life punches you in the face. When it's time for you to live on your character. When it's time for you, your back is against the wall. And everything is coming at you. That's when we find out what type of person you are. That's when we find out how valuable you are. Do you stick it out? Do you keep trying? Or do you make up excuse after excuse as to why it doesn't work? Do you blame everybody except yourself? Do you look at outward all the time instead of looking inside? Do you look inside yourself and say, hey, I'm good about what I am. You know, I made these mistakes. I do these things. This is who I be, right? Are you taking time to look within? Do you have the conversations with yourself at night? Are you strategizing about how you can take care of your family? Not just about how you can get money. Because getting money doesn't mean you taking care of your family. Doesn't mean that you're seeing your kids. Doesn't mean that you're hanging with the right people. Doesn't mean that you have good ideas. Doesn't mean, look, you're not bringing issues after issues into your own life. Which brings me to my next point. Number 2, another thing that makes someone high value. Someone, notice I ain't saying male or female. Someone high value. Do you have peace in your life? Do you have peace? Are you at peace with who you are as a person? Are you at peace with who you are as a man or a woman, right? Are you at peace with yourself? Do you know how to be peaceful? Can you sit in a room alone with no headphones on and still be at peace? Can you be in a room full of 100,000 people and still be at peace? If you lost everything tomorrow, are you still at peace? Inside your heart, do you love yourself? Do you take care of yourself? Are you clean on the inside, as Hezekiah Walker would say? Are you at peace? If everything goes away tomorrow and all you got is you, if you lost everything, if you lost your friendships and you lost your lover, are you okay with you? Are you at peace? Because if you're not at peace, that brings us to number 3. Can you bring peace to others? Which means, do you have the ability to make someone else's life just as peaceful as your own? Because here's the thing, just because you have a peaceful life doesn't mean that you know how to bring peace to others. You may be chaotic in every other way, but absolutely fine with who you are. You can be chaotic in all the other ways, but hate love yourself and hate everybody else. Make your room comfortable, but make it everybody else's life a heck, in hell. And turn it in hell on earth for everyone else while you just sitting and feeling good about your day. Yeah. So can you bring peace to someone? Taking some load off of somebody. Do you take the load off of somebody? Or do you add to them a load? Are you bringing stability to life? And this is male or female. Are you stabilizing the person that you're coming to? Good God Almighty. I love this truth. I love this. Are you bringing peace to somebody? Are you taking the load off? When Christ said, come to him, he said, come to me, all of you that are burdened and heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. Take up my yoke, for it's easy, for my burdens are easy, and my yoke is easy and my burdens are light. So he says, take it up. Why? One, because I'm meek, right? And you'll find rest for your soul, right? So he brings the truth about what he's trying to bring to you, a peace, right? That you're supposed to get when you receive his truth, right? So you come into Christ, you get saved, you become high value. He brings high value to your life because he brings peace. The burden is lightened comparatively. Compared to your life prior to him, your life is supposed to be less pressure, less worry, less doubt. Doesn't mean you're not going to have any. Doesn't mean you ain't going to have no problems. But it's going to be lighter. My yoke is easy. My work is easy. My burdens are light. So ask yourself this question. Are you lightening the load of the person in life that you're coming into, or are you creating a bigger burden? Are you giving them more work, harder work to do, because they got to try to fix things in your life. They got to try to fix things in their life. You may come with more than one kid, and we'll get into that another day. But you may come with other issues, you know, unresolved issues. Is the burden lighter with you around? Are you a financial burden to this person now? Are you lightening the load, so to speak, for them? Only one that knows that is you, right? So take up my yoke, for my burdens are easy. My yoke is easy, my burden is light. Do you lighten the load for people? Do you make things easy for the person that you're with? Or are you making it hard? Are you a cheater at nature? Have you not figured out that you're done dating? Or are you still dating in your mind? And there's nothing wrong with that inherently, long as you've said it in your heart and you're honest with yourself and you're honest with the person that you're trying to be with. It's no big deal. You're honest about it. Your burden, you're lightening the load for them. Are you opening doors? Or in the case of women, are you making it easy for him to be a man? Are you making it easy for him to be a gentleman? Are you making it easy for him? Are you making it peaceful for him to do these things? Or are you lightening, or are you heavening the load? Are you being rude and condescending? Are you being rude and unfavorable? Or do you have men still lingering around? Do you have ex-boyfriends still lingering around? Is his burden becoming light with you? Or is it more heavier with you? Are you bringing peace to your man? Are you... For the men, are you opening the doors for her? Are you being a gentleman? Are you, helping carry some load, carry some bags when they bring some groceries by? You know, you never know. Are you helping when you can? And are you sacrificing in your own way? And here's the thing. You can't expect single folk to act like married folk. Let's stop that too, okay? Some of us are looking for marriage treatment in a single relationship. Nah, you don't get that, to some, benign degree, you can have some similarities, but you can't treat a single relationship like a marriage. When you're single and in a relationship, you have the right to come and go as you so choose. You have the right to be in that relationship or not be in that relationship. Just be honest with yourself. Am I in this or am I not? That's it. Be honest with yourself, be honest with the person. Have integrity, right? Have character on your life. Be accountable. So how do you do that? Hey, I'm not interested in being in a relationship right now. And sticking to that. Not feeling like you have to be made to live in a relationship that you don't want to be in. So there's a difference between a singles relationship and a marriage relationship. But getting back to the topic, what makes somebody high value? We talked about, having the morals, the ethics, and the character to stand up for what you believe. We talked about, do you bring peace to somebody's life and what that, high overview means, and how you bring peace to others. Here's number 4. Do you have the ability and the capacity to love without taking inventory of the things that you do? And here's another part to that. Can somebody tell you something and it just stay where it is? And I don't care whether you're male or female, but women love to do this a little bit more. Do you have the ability to love without inventory? What do I mean? Do you have the ability to love without looking at what it is you do and numbering the things that you do? Do you have the ability to love somebody without asking them for something in return or saying, well, let's take a scenario, right? You bought a apple for the man on your first day. 3 days later, you plant an apple tree in his backyard. 3 months later, you schedule out all of his meetings and you start taking care of everything. Like from not financially, but just schedule wise. You start looking at his schedule. You give him some ideas. You give him some room to talk. You give him a lap to lay on at night. Y'all talk. Y'all cuddle up on the couch. Y'all always doing stuff together. Let's say you did 10 amazing things for him or her. Excuse me. Can you leave it at that? Can you leave it at that? Can that be enough? Can that be enough? Or do you have to bring up to that person every time what you did for them? Oh, well, look what I did for you. Look what I do for you. I'm the one that planted that tree. I'm the one that gave you the apples. I'm the one that's been writing out your schedule. I'm the one. I'm the one. I'm the one. Every single time you do good for them, you weaponize what it is that you took and did and weaponize it and say, look what I do for you. I'm better than you because of this. Because that's what it's going to come off as. That goes back to, can you bring peace? You take an inventory of what it is good that you do for somebody. But then when it comes down to when it's your turn and that person starts doing, why are you telling me these things? I know what you did. Thank you. Everything should end at thank you. When it's from the heart, you don't have to say a whole lot. You don't. It's from the heart. You believe it. You did it for the right reasons. It's just like giving out money. Don't give out money if you can't give it away. If you have to keep asking for it back, don't give it out. Don't give out money that you don't have. Same thing. Don't do for somebody and then expect something in return. That's not from the heart. That's not genuine. Now, you can expect to be treated with respect, but you should be asking for that whether you do for somebody or not. That has zero to do with gratitude. That has everything to do with ethics and morals. Number one. But don't give to somebody. And it's like going to a homeless person and saying, hey, I bought you food. You still eating on that? Wasn't that good for you? You happy about that? Hey, I bought you that water the other day. Was that good for you? You like how that tastes? Hey, my man. Hey, that was flavorful, wasn't it? Yo, hey, I bought you that pop. Remember that day I bought you that pop? You're doing it for yourself. And that's your reward. That's all you get. Because, I mean, what else would anybody give you? You got what you wanted. You getting to tell yourself how great you are. But if you ever notice, when you take inventory and notice what happens with people, whenever you take inventory with them, and I know my video long, but every time you take inventory with people, what is the first thing that they do? They don't come back. They stop wanting to talk to you. Why? Because you take an inventory. Who wants somebody that's going to take inventory on them all the time? Right? So, the other part about that is, can somebody tell you something and it stays between you two and it doesn't get weaponized. Which means, let's say a man told you, I had a bad day at work. I'm making something up. I had a bad day at work. Raphael, he kicked me in my back of my leg and made me drop all the food off my platter. And I had to go back and cook all of that. I can't stand Raphael. And you come back and say, 3 days later, man, that's why you weak kneed and you lost your whole platter and had them remake it. It's a terrible example, but that's what I'm saying. Let's say your man told you, man, my mom is, and I just don't get along. We just don't get along. 3 days later, you say, well, that's why your mom and you don't get along. See, I can see why you, because look how you act. Look how you acting. What if he told you, hey, I'm not too happy about my weight. 3 days later, man, you is kind of fat, man. Your weight ain't that good. See, you need to start changing your size. What if she told you, I really don't like how big I am. And you go, hey, I bought you a dietitian. You're going to have to lose this weight. See how all of that is weaponizing words? Or she says to you, I always feel like I'm being late. Man, you is always late. See, weaponizing the words. You get into an argument, you say something in the heat of the argument, and now that is what you think about that person. Heat of the moment conversations. You lowering the value of yourself. That does not make a high value person. That doesn't bring peace to the other person. That's not moral. That's not ethical. It's not cool. It's not right. All it does is bloviate oneself, makes oneself feel great. So if you don't have the ability to not take inventory, not do those things, how can you call yourself high value? The person can't bring nothing to you. They can't trust you. They can't, they're not peaceful with you. How can they be in a relationship with you? And finally, number 5. Do you have the ability to change? Can you change who you are? Do you have the capacity for change at this point in your life? If you don't, then why would you be in a relationship? Because people change every day in a relationship. Look at yourself at 18. Go back to your 18th birthday. Look at yourself. Look at yourself at 25. If you're after 25, look at yourself at 30 compared to 25. If you're 35, look at yourself at 25, then look at yourself at 30 and look at yourself today. If you're near 40, look at yourself when you were at the prime of your life in your 20s. Look at yourself. Look at you where you at now. God bless you. You made it this far. But bruh, sis, look at yourself. Are you the same person that you used to be? And I can tell you, you're not. I can tell you, you're not. Not at all. Not even close. Okay? So, you changed. What about your mindset? Did your mindset change between that time? So everybody has the ability and the capacity to change. Can you accept your change? Can you accept somebody else's change? If you can do those things, have the ability to change, love without taking inventory, and use it and weaponizing what people say, give back to have the peace to give to others, having peace within yourself, having the moral and ethical standards. If you can do these things, You, my friend, are high value. You don't need just money. You don't need just education. And you don't need just religion. You need a package of that plus all this other stuff. Because all three of those things unto themselves are good, but they don't make you high value. You can have all the education, you can have all the financial stewardship, you can be the greatest Christian there is, and you're still not valuable to anybody. All at the same time. You can have all those things at the same time, but if you suck as a person, I don't care how much of the big three you have. Sex, money, resources. That's what everybody looks for. So if those three things are in play, but you don't have all the other tangibles down here, I don't care how much you do the other stuff. So I think that if the lead attorney and Kevin Samuels and anybody else, O'Shea in the manosphere, were to look at this video and test it against mine, I don't think that anything I've said here has even destroyed anything that they have to say. In fact, I'm sure they would concur with me on these things. And if I'm wrong, I hope that one of them does take a chance to look at my video and tell me where I have made the mistake. Because I don't want to be in the manosphere, but I do want to tell people, you are valuable to yourself first. You have the right to live. You have a great life. God has blessed you. You are on the internet watching YouTube. You can't be too broke. All right. So take care of yourself. Enjoy your life. Live a good life. Live as good a life as you can. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go have a great life. But if you want to be in a relationship, you got to learn to bring peace to somebody else other than yourself. I'm the boy. I'm your boy. The Big Ox. Ooh, cheer. And you guys have a great day. God bless.